And you mentioned something that I think is really important to note. It's like this isn't necessarily for giant companies only. And in fact, it might be easier to implement this stuff if you're a smaller or more nimble organization because you don't have the levels of bureaucracy that you have to go through. I mean, I know Webrick, we approach some customers and it takes them, 7 months to get through just a scoping exercise, whereas like a smaller org, 2 days, we're ready to go, like,
yeah.
so there's some beauty of this. It's a massive advantage. Yeah.
To be able to move quickly and sort of have the autonomy to go, you know what, we're not going to wait for this templated platform to release this feature or to enable us to do this. We're just going to do it ourselves. But,
Right.
obviously the requirements to do so and sort of take on that level of control, and, there is an element of maintenance and technical requirements that you either have to use an agency or have in-house. It's not for everyone, but the cost to serve and create these headless experiences is going down like month over month.
Right.
I think if you've been in e-commerce a long time, there like microsites used to be like great, but also really expensive to get out, and so the return on that was like, is it worth it? But and just before the call, we were talking about sort of these experience builders, and that the cost to serve them is like almost free now. So you don't have to launch your brand with a very robust curatorial experience that you would typically see on a standard Shopify site. Maybe you just want a simple landing page which explains the product, has a bit of early validation from some customers, and then the ability for customers to buy. And it can be that streamlined. You validate that, and then if that takes off, then you build out a more curatorial style web experience. But it's definitely not just for enterprise, and that's an exciting area that we play is really bringing headless to the smallest players of the market, and helping also not the most senior developers create these kind of experiences. We've got student developers coming out of boot camps that are creating fully headless API driven experiences, which is really cool to see because they're coming at it from a fresh perspective as opposed to this traditional e-commerce of like, oh, that sounds really hard, I don't know, I'm just gonna stay here. But